Hello, my name's Theo. It's a Monday football video sort of thing. Got the whiteboard here. I'm going to talk about some interesting things about 3-3 stack. Things I like about it. Not a full overview of it, just quickie little tidbits about stuff. Again, my name's Theo. I play middle linebacker, Hilversum Hurricanes, which is in the town of Hilversum, which is southeast of Amsterdam in the Netherlands in Europe. And so, as you can see, my pandemic hair is getting unmanageable. As I do these videos that are all about, football and the whiteboard and stuff, I always start out with like a little bit of comment response and then news from around Europe involving American football, and then I go into the topic of the video. So, I haven't actually had many comments. I had someone in a direct message come and ask me on Instagram, what was that? Can you do more reviews or cheaper equipment if people are just now starting off in football? I have whole playlists right there of it. It's fine. Do more hauls type for football. I don't change my gear out. Plus, in Europe here, it's kind of hard to get that gear. If I lived in southern Germany, possibly I could go over to the store and actually shop. But there's only one actual store that sells American football stuff in the Netherlands, and it's way southeast. It would take me 2 hours to get out there on a train or something like that. It's way out there. He was like, well, just do visors, cleats, the top basic things to know about the sport. I'm like, well, I have football 101 videos. Again, there's another playlist right there. And because it's hard to get stuff. When I order away for something, sometimes it takes me months to get it. It took me 5 weeks to get my Zenith pads, and that was ordering from Zenith and paying an egregious amount of shipping. And so that's what I was explaining to him in Instagram Direct. I was like, I can't. It's really hard. It would take a month to get here from stuff on Amazon, and that's just basic gear that I already have a lot of, and it's not like the pandemic has done amazing things. Lockdowns have done amazing things for my income, so I can't just be ordering things for $200 or $300 and then paying another $40 in shipping and then $30 on top of that just to get it in the continent. It's a pain in the butt to order things from the States. And doing more hauls. I haven't got any new gear since I got my new shoulder pads, so if you guys are interested, I could go over the basic gear that I currently own and whatnot, but again, I have a bunch of gear. Every time I get new gear, I do a video about it. It's up there. So that's it. There's not really any comments on videos because, yeah, it's not football season, although there are football games being played in the United States, but it's just not a thing people are searching for in the middle of March. I've got that. Now, news along the European stuff. We have some distressing news out of France. They have canceled their competition season for 2021 for Division 1, 2, 3, the women's competition, and the youth competitions. They may still practice in limited numbers, but as they have a strict curfew of 6 p.m., I'm not sure. I mean, you can still practice during the middle of the day, but then that leaves it to the weekends and things are awkward. I will link below to the Fédération Française d'Amérique Football Américain, whatever, I forget. I don't know how to speak French very well, so my accent is probably terrible bad, because I probably pronounced twice as many letters as actually exist. Anyways, but there's the link below. You'll have to translate it from French if you actually, unless you read French. No shade, but not many Americans do. You've got that. Other things, Hungary, I saw this from the Budapest Trojans? Budapest Wolves, my bad. Is it Bucharest Trojans? I'll figure it out. But they are now officially testing all of their players. They're Hungary, by the way. They are now officially testing all of their players before practice. And yeah, let's translate this to English. Yeah, apparently they are now going to scan everybody, do testing. I'm not sure if they're going to be doing the quickie tests, or you have to get your test done. If your practice is on Friday, you got to get your test done and then get it back and say you have it negative. So, but they're apparently still practicing, but I'm not sure if they're going to have a season. Germany is practicing or is planning to have its season, and I believe are going to practices. A lot of my German friends aren't putting Instagram selfies from practice. I'm a little weirded out by that one. Sweden is going through practices right now, as I've seen people in like the home practices. Like the Nordic countries Scandinavian countries just got done with like a season of sorts, in the fall. So that's been going on with that one. The German teams are actually picking up some of their import players and they're signing them. I'm seeing the signing things left and right from Euro players and whatnot. So again, they are planning on having a season. I just don't know how well it's going to work out. With France canceling everything, and I don't even know if we're having a season. I haven't seen anything come from the AFBN, the Netherlands one, and all that jazz. Belgian American Football League? British. What's the Belgian one? Belgian American Football. They are Baffle. Whatever. What is your actual baffle.ba? There we are. Whoa, guys. Our website is being renewed. That's comforting. Apparently Belgium just has as much news on its site as the Dutch one does. Yeah, September 4th is the last time they updated to their Facebook page, so we don't know what's going on with that one. Currently we have really Swiss cheese rules here, and that's just frustrating because it's like the youth teams under 19 have been able to practice but no competitions. Then a couple weeks ago, 26 and under was able to practice, but they could not utilize contact. But now this week, as of last Monday, they were able to contact, but also the 27 and over can actually go in, which weirdly is, I talked about this last week, is kind of awkward for American football in the Netherlands. There's a fair number of late 20s, early 30s guys that are getting into football, and so now it's like 27 and under. But again, the Netherlands doesn't think about American football. They think about like soccer and hockey, where you've got like students playing, but still no competitions can happen. And probably when they think of older people playing, they're thinking of like the elderly that are playing pétanque or something, not like the kids out there playing. But yeah. So I'm in this weird like middle group of like I'm over 27, but I can't get within 6 feet of my teammates, and I play American football, and so it's like, and the roster that went out, they're like, who's actually coming to practice because we have to register, and it's like, oh, we're gonna have 11 people at practice, and 2 groups, a group of 5 and a group of 7, they can't intermingle. So it's like, the rules are so weird. So Germany's having a season, they're signing up things, but a lot of German teams are also signing for the ELF. And that's, like Jacob Temblar got picked up as a punter for them. And, that jazz. I'll put a link to his channel. He's probably going to make an announcement about it soon. He made an announcement on his Instagram that he's signed with a team that's going for the ELF, which is a professional league in Europe. They're trying to get something akin to rivaling the NFL and the CFL, but in Europe. More power to them, but it's... With France not having a season, Hungary is like hyper-testing its things. Belgium, Netherlands, don't even know if they have a schedule going on. I don't know what's going on with Europe, or with Britain. But then again, they have enough Brexit problems to deal with, as well as their 50th lockdown, I guess? I don't know. And I can't find anything about Italy or Austria or Switzerland. Spain is currently having their season, but I'm not sure what weird restrictions they have on that. The Reus, man, I'm really Dutch on that one. R-E-U-S, Imperials in Spain. No, that's French. Reus, R-E-U-S. They just lost to a Barcelona team today. Sorry. It was 52-0. That's saddening, but at least they're playing a football game with like contact and like snazzy uniforms. That's pretty much the news around Europe. There's not much going on. There's stuff coming out of the ELF or GFL import players, but it's awkward. And I'm not just going to turn this into a list show. We need to get to the whiteboard. Well, that's actually squared up pretty good. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're not going to put anything to... Just get down here. You can see it in the screen. I'm just like... So So we're going to start just with the basics. I don't put anything really to scale because we're all talking about concepts here. So we're dealing with, come here, that is not a square. Circle, 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 circle. Not to scale. We're going to go with a nose, end, an end, an end. And then blue for linebackers, we'll have a Sam, Mike, Will. That's a pretty cute W. Anyway, so this is why we call it stack. Because as you're looking at it, you see 1 stack, 2 stack, 3 stack. So it's 3 linemen, 3 back. The DBs can be out there scramdoodling around wherever they want to do. The concept of this that I like is called trickery. So there's a signal that the backer gives to their lineman. You can be all weird with this one. You know, you can like tap them like multiple times and then the one side that you end on, or you can just physically tell them. Like, you don't have to like pat butts here, or like do whatever, but you give a secret tell to your lineman as to which hole they're going in. So if the Sam comes up and, you know, is coming on this side, the end will be head up. You gotta be in, the thing is you must be in these positions every time, because otherwise there's gonna be a give, a tell. So, and we're talking like 1-2 yards difference, and you gotta be like, everybody's in a block. And you can do this for a play, but you have to do this whenever you're going to do 3-3 stack for a play. You must do it this way. That's the thing. Your consistency allows for subtlety. So you give off a little idea. Now, you can say all linebackers go right, all linemen go left. That's fun. Or, you know, you can give out weird little codes that say the Mike is going left, the Will is going right, and the Sam is going right. And then the others go in their other directions. We'll use red because we're not dealing with DBs today. So like the Sam goes that way, the end goes that way, the nose goes that way, the Mike goes that way, the Will goes that way, and the end goes that way. I'm not sure how well you guys are seeing the difference in those colors. I'm not. But that's the thing is like, and then the next play, you do the exact same thing, but the Mike and the nose swap. So the center thinks, oh, the nose is going to do that one. And then like the end and the Will swap what they're, not their positions, but which hole they're going into. And you can, and each line is responsible for their own because they only ever have the 2 holes they're responsible for. And if your end is like fun and good and is a good in-your-face sort of person, they can line up here, like even give a hint that they're going to go in this hole, grab the tackle, and actually push them that way. You know, and because they're like, oh, well, the Will got around me last time, so I'm going to bout out this way. But then the end just actually grabs him and pushes him that way, and the Will has a free rein because the Mike and... You can get so many, there are multiple iterations. Like this is one, you know, but then you've got Sam and N, that's another 2. And then this one, but then the mics switch. And then this, but then they switch. And then these 2 switch. And then these switch, but those 2 say the same. You see what I mean? And you have these little things. And what we were doing on my team is we were just like patting the side of the hip. Like the hip pad sort of thing. And like while the quarterback's looking around doing what he needs to do, you just do a little pat, pat. And they know that's the side you're going on. That also has to be the clue. It's not the side you want them to go on. It's the side you're going to be on. But you say square up with them. So it's Sam, end, tackle. Will, end, tackle. Mike, nose, center. Like the guards think they're like free reign. But the thing is since these 3 guys are head up on the outside guys, the guards are like, what am I doing? Who am I going after? And they're second guessing, like, do I go after the end? do I go after this? Do I go after the nose? Because if he goes after the end, and this guy goes after the Sam, and then the nose, then this opens this up, and then the nose comes this. Because you're spooking the lineman after a fashion, and if it is, so you keep the offensive linemen on their toes by having this sort of thing. It's probably not something to do all the time, because then they'll basically learn to just sort of, this is a really good run defense. If they're going in for pass protection and they're immediately backing up, it kind of doesn't work very well when they're going in and creating the pocket shell, because you've got a bunch of people rushing when it's not a run. But like I said, it's one of those things that every time you do this, you must line up in this fashion, in this exact thing, and you do your little secret code thing. Because you want the offensive lineman and perhaps the quarterback and maybe whatever squirrely dudes are running back there with him, they want to see this and not know who's going where. I mean, to be fair, you don't want to know where anybody's going anyways. But if the nose is lined up in this hole and the mic is lined up a little over that way, you have a general idea. But especially here in the Netherlands, where you're just going to be in that hole because people line up in the hole that they're going towards rather than trying to step over and come across and make a cross thing. This, again, requires, but you got to practice this very often. And we don't usually have enough of the linemen and linebackers at practice to be able to get this going, plus the football know-how to get this thing going. But this, again, this is all I'm really going to describe about this. This is actually something I really, really like about 3-3 stack. And what happens when you do in pass? Well, that's just pass. The mic and the will have their relative holes for like pass protection. And this is, like I said, this isn't like a thing you run every play, because you have 5 defensive backs swirling around back there doing their stuff. But if you have a tight end, then it gets like even more awkward, because then you got your strong safety coming down here and he gets in the mess. And if you really, really want to spice things up, you move these guys around. You get 3 linebackers that can all do the same damn thing. So you put like 47 here, 44 there, and 43 there. And then the next play you put 43 there, 47 there, and you keep 44 there. And then you bring in 37, you put him there, you move 44 over there, and you put 47 there. And then you move 37 in here, 47 over there, 44 comes out, and 43 comes back in. You get a bunch of linebackers can all do the exact same thing in this 3-3 stack, and you've got the offense they have no idea who's capable of what. And yeah, it catches them nice and by surprise, and it can get them into what can be called analysis paralysis. I like the term, but the linemen are just like they freeze, and it gets them panicky and jumpy. So, like the mic, you could go into this lineup and just say like, hey, we're going to be in this position, but we're not actually going to do this whole like little thing. We're just going to push everybody in normal positions. And then the mic just does a little jump thing and the guard can move. Because he doesn't, like the guards are like, what do I do? What do I do? To go after him? Mike. The mic moved. Even though yeah. And if the guard moves, then the tackle can move, and then pretty soon you've got flags. It's like, false start, everyone but the center, because the center's like, I have a ball in my hands, guys. But that's that. That's what I like about the 3-3 and various things. I don't like having, plus with, at least here in the Netherlands, on a lot of teams I've seen, the linebackers you have such inconsistent amount of time at practices, and such short time at practices sometimes, that it's hard to get them all trained up the same way. So someone has a job and they miss a couple practices, and then they come in for the game and they're like, sorry guys, I missed a couple practices, heavy at work stuff, and they don't know the new stuff. So you have to go back to the old stuff. So you go with simple KISS, keep it simple, stupid.